Hey everybody, just a real quick announcement from Dustin and I.
Yeah, we just wanted to pop in before the intro here and let you know of a little change at KFlix. We are going to start releasing every 2 weeks, every second Monday.
Yeah, we're dialing it back. This is no longer a weekly program. It is just a lot of extra work for Dustin and I to do on top of our normal everyday work. So,
Sure, yeah. Tale as old as time, two guys making a podcast, not for money.
Yes,
We're just pulling it back a little bit. Hopefully that's not too disappointing to our diehard fans.
Yeah.
But for everyone else, hey, we're at 60 plus episodes. There's plenty to check out, I think, for you all.
We just wanted to let you know right off, so that way it wasn't a shock when there's no episodes every Monday.
But come back every other Monday, and we'll still be kicking them out year round.
So please enjoy the Almost Famous episode that you came to listen to.
Watching movies and jamming out. KFlix 198.4 Fiction Radio.
Welcome back to KFlix Fiction Radio. This week we're going back in time with another Cameron Crowe smash hit. It's Almost Famous.
That's right. Back on the Crowe train. I didn't necessarily have Cameron Crowe in mind at all going into like making this show, and now we've got two, not in a row, but pretty recently we've talked about the guy. It was all grunge last time. This time it's
70s
rock.
Yeah,
although I'm gonna talk about grunge still because there's grunge involved.
That's true. Yeah. Once you get to know all of the people in the grunge scene, if you're gonna make another movie about fictional music, you're gonna pull from the people you're now friends with.
That's true. Yeah. So this is considered a pretty good movie.
Oh yeah, dude, nominated for all kinds of awards and shit.
So this is like essentially Cameron Crowe's little autobiography, his coming of age story, because he was a kid writing for magazines like Cream and Rolling Stone in the 70s, hanging out with bands like the Allman Brothers.
Yeah. Can you imagine how crazy that would have been? It's so wild.
I mean, yeah, super, super different times. And like, I love the Frances McDormand character, the mom.
Uh-huh.
I love that she's almost, oh my God, this is just hitting me, but she's almost the like blueprint for Lois in Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, I can see that.
You know,
for sure.
she's sort of like working class mom who has what's the word I'm looking for? She's scary to like grown people.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Strikes the fear into their hearts.
Yeah. The stuff with her and Billy Crudup is some of my favorite stuff in it. Like just when they're on the phone and then like later he's like, your mom really kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like totally like a proto Lois. Like
that's really
less
good
funny,
observation.
but kind of funny.
She's definitely she's pretty funny in this movie.
She's pretty funny. Yeah, Frances McDormand is
A terrific actress.
one of the best.
Yeah.
But I love the nuance of it, and this is how it feels real to me, is like she's constantly like, no, saying no, this is banned, you can't do this. But then like going along with everything.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
She's dropping her kid off at his first concert to go to as a real journalist or whatever.
Well, but I feel like that's the learning curve of her character, too. If I don't do this, he will run away like my other child did.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. It's probably also, sadly, some like thing where the male child gets it easier.
Also true.
As far as being protective.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can relate to this kid. I feel like
yeah.
I never like, I just didn't have a lot of boundaries because I set such a tone of like, I'm not going to do anything crazy. Like, I'm not going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Just trust me. I need to go to this concert or whatever.
Totally true, yeah.
But yeah, not even a big part of the overall movie. But I had to talk about her character.
Well, I mean, she's so good in the film. I forgot how much she was in it. honestly,
Yeah.
because I haven't seen this movie in a long time.
They got a lot out of a few days with her, and they got a lot out of a few days with Philip Seymour Hoffman. I know for a fact he was only on set for, I think, 4 days, is what I read. So they just got a lot of like phone call stuff, where anytime, a major thing happens in the story, he's calling either his mom or Lester Bangs.
True.
Great way to do it. Get some big names, some big heavy hitting like actors in there, and then cast a lot of, I think, pretty unknowns at the time. Was this Zooey Deschanel's first big role?
She might have been in Elf or Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy before this.
Ooh, was Elf before this?
Around the same time.
Elf was 03.
Oh, okay. What was Hitchhiker's Guide?
05.
Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. So I guess this probably was the first big
I think
one.
this may have been our first-ish thing.
Interesting.
Anyway, good cast. It's just a good cast.
Huge cast. And you were saying mostly unknowns. I mean, Jason Lee was not unknown at this point.
No, he wasn't unknown, but he was transitioning from indie, coming out of the Kevin Smith world.
That's true.
He was not yet Earl.
No.
He was a good cast for this, for sure.
Yes.
Jason Lee is so good at being like confidently like, nobody likes me.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure what Billy Crudup had been in up to this point. I'm sure it's stuff, but he steals it. Like, he's so good.
He's so charming in this movie. It's fantastic. It's a perfect casting.
I read somewhere that his character is loosely based on Glenn Frey from the Eagles. You come across that?
No, I didn't. That's funny.
I could see that, having watched that documentary quite a few episodes back now. Like, Glenn Frey always seemed like he wasn't like clean of anything necessarily, but he more or less went along with what everybody else wanted to do.
Yeah, I did not come across that info. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, it's been said. It's one of those things where I'm like not ready to back it up with direct quotes or anything, but I read it somewhere.
That makes it true.
And then we got Patrick Fugit, I'm assuming. Is how you say that? Patrick Fugit, the main kid.
Oh.
He was an unknown, and he kind of stayed. Like, I haven't seen him in much since this, but he was great for the role.
He was basically perfect for the role.
Yeah, and then we got all the cameos.
So many fucking cameos. Jimmy Fallon's in this movie.
Jimmy Fallon's in this movie. Mark Maron's in this movie. Mark Maron says the line that is used in the theme song for his podcast. Yeah. Lock the gates. Every time I hear that, I think of the riff that plays after it on his podcast. You get a little Rainn Wilson before anybody knew who he was. You get Eric Stonestreet before anybody knew who he was.
Yeah.
Jay Baruchel as a baby.
Yeah, he's so little bitty in this.
They had to come up with someone like scrawnier than the main kid, I think. and that was the guy. Solid cast. That's all. We'll put a bow on that. Because we need to talk about the music at some point, and my God, there's so much music in this movie. I mean, Cameron Crowe, there's always going to be a bunch of music, but like, this is about the industry, and it is just layered with just the fucking soundtrack stuff. I mean, I read they spent over $3 million on licensing.
Well, I mean, when you have this many needle drops in the year 2000, you're going to pay out the wazoo for it. You're not going to get those.
Oh yeah.
Forrest Gump deals in 1994.
I feel like Forrest Gump paid for it too, but you couldn't make this now.
No.
You could never afford the streaming rights.
That's true.
To this many songs in one thing. That would be insane.
Well, not this many popular songs.
No, yeah, right.
Also, besides the soundtrack, there are just a fair number of Stillwater songs for us to discuss.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to those, but yeah, there's a ton of original music too. But before we even hit that, I wanted to be like, holy crap, like every scene is just punctuated by a super famous, like, classic rock song.
Yep, absolutely.
And then you've got, there's all kinds of bands in here that we've talked about. We've got Yes, we've never talked about Todd Rundgren, but Todd Rundgren is in here. And then just big hitters. Get the Who, you got Led Zeppelin, you got Elton John, you got Lynyrd Skynyrd, Rod Stewart. Crazy soundtrack.
Oh yeah, it's just loaded with all-time bangers.
Yeah, speaking of Lynyrd Skynyrd, which I just mentioned.
Yes.
I have always I have always confused their song Simple Man as not by them and as something that came much later, and in my mind came out of Seattle. What I'm trying to say is, Simple Man plays as like a proto grunge song to me.
Oh,
and it's one of those
interesting.
where, like, when I've just heard it in public, I think I just honestly have thought it was Pearl Jam for like most of my life.
Wow, that's kind of
And then
cool, honestly.
Realizing it's a Lynyrd Skynyrd song, I'm like, they almost set the stage for, I mean, grunge is a lot of things, right? But for that like Pearl Jam style, like it's more, it's Lynyrd Skynyrd. It's Southern sounding.
Yeah.
But like this could be like Candlebox or something. Totally could be.
Yeah, absolutely it could.
And I think it's a thing which we'll get into later for reasons with the Stillwater songs, but there's like the elongated like just those letting those guitar strums play out like that, but be super distorted. Like that's kind of grunge to me. If you're gonna put grunge in, whatever box. Like I texted you sort of a rant last night about like grunge isn't like, it's just because everybody was from the same place. It was a scene, but it's not a genre. Pearl Jam is not Nirvana, is not Alice in Chains. Like they all sound so different.
That's true.
Like Nirvana is an evolution of Pixies to me. Pearl Jam is closer to Ozzy or Guns N' Roses almost in my mind. And shit, what was the other one I had? Alice in Chains. They actually dip into the Skynyrd territory a lot. They sound like a Southern rock band.
Yeah, that's fair.
So mini rant, but what is grunge? And the other thing about grunge that I wanted to dip into for just a minute is...
Oh, sure. Yeah, I would love to hear that, Bud, but we got a phone call coming in, so let's take that.
Oh, yeah, sure. Put them through.
Thanks for calling K-Flix Fiction Radio. What's your name and from where are you calling?
Hi guys, long time, first time. My name's Aviv and I'm calling from Los Angeles, California.
Hey, thanks for calling, Aviv. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm calling about Almost Famous.
Oh, yeah. Are you a big fan?
I'm a huge fan. So I am a musician and a filmmaker, and it just so happens that I became inspired to be a musician at the age of 15 and a filmmaker at the age of 15. And wouldn't you know it, Almost Famous, the best movie about a band on tour, came out when I was 15. And so what are the odds that the thing that I think is the best came out when I was the most vulnerable to all that stuff.
The most impressionable to Cameron Crowe's spun yarns.
And I was the age that William Miller was when he was like on tour with Stillwater. So it was I wanted to be both William Miller and Russell Hammond at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. That's definitely, I think, a theme of watching this.
Super relatable.
Yeah, for sure. And I've always been really fascinated by kind of making how these things come to be, which is why I'm a huge fan of the show. And this story is like relatively straightforward, which is kind of fun. Not that there aren't any twists and turns, but Cameron Crowe was married to Nancy Wilson from the band Heart at the time of making this movie, and Nancy Wilson wrote most of the Stillwater songs together. Cameron Crowe, Nancy Wilson, and Ann Wilson, the other Wilson sister of Heart.
Yeah, which is super awesome.
So yeah, imagine your wife being one of the greatest songwriter guitarists from the 80s and being like, oh, hey, hon, could you come in here and write a Led Zeppelin style song for me?
Yeah, and then her being like, yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
And so Cameron Crowe and Nancy Wilson got married in 1986, but before that, she actually appears in two other Cameron Crowe movies written by him but not directed by him. She plays Girl in the Corvette in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and she's in the coming-of-age teen movie The Wildlife, which weirdly has a score composed by Eddie Van Halen, who's like a frequent flyer at K-Flix.
Yeah, we talked about that very score being used in Back to the Future.
Oh, that's right. That's the tape in Darth Vader's Walkman.
Yeah,
And I looked up what the plot of the Wildlife is. Have you guys like heard of this movie?
I've
other
seen
than the
it.
Score? It's crazy.
It is.
You've seen
yeah.
it. I'm not.
I watched it for our Back to the Future episode.
Nancy Wilson is the wife of Hart Bachner, the guy from Die Hard who asks Hans Gruber to sprechen Sie talk and then gets shot in the head. And he's like cheating on her with like Leia Thompson, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who is also in Back to the Future. So Nancy Wilson and her Hart bandmate and sister and Ann Wilson and Cameron Crowe all wrote the Stillwater songs, and this is like sort of the biggest non-surprise ever that Hart idolized Led Zeppelin. In the beginning of their career, they got the nickname Little Led Zeppelin, and this was like industry common knowledge to the point that they were the ones that got to perform Stairway to Heaven at the Kennedy Center Honors. And you can see that video on YouTube, and both Robert Plant and Jimmy Page are like crying in the balcony.
Oh, I have not seen
great.
that video. I'm totally going to watch that.
Awesome. It's very, very good. And so Ann Wilson is the shredder of Hart. She's the big lead guitarist. But so I reached out to Nick Millivoy of Premier Guitar, and he said, quote, "Remember, Nancy wasn't the lead guitarist, but I think in a weird way that's where the Jimmy Page influence manifests itself most uniquely in Hart's music. It's in the way she strums and the layers of acoustic guitar in their tunes." Which I think is like super cool, even though Stillwater doesn't have very many acoustic oriented songs. I still think it's not just someone can solo like Jimmy Page, right? It's that the entire construction of the songs are so steeped in a deep love for the Led Zeppelin era of music. Not to say that this is like only based on Led Zeppelin, but Zeppelin is obviously a really big part.
They're big in the mix on this for sure.
And in addition to composing and producing the songs, specifically Fever Dog, she also helped as a technical consultant, and she coached the actors on how to like look and act like musicians on stage, which I think is another one of those really important things that you all talked about in your A Star Is Born episode of like Bradley Cooper really selling being able to play the guitar.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's super important. Well, I mean, like we talk about that on a decent basis. Like we talk about Michael J. Fox learning to play the guitar on the set
learning
of
that lick.
Yeah.
I think we reference Michael J. Fox a lot because he's the crossover point between two important factors. One being looking like you're playing the stuff, and two being that if you're using a fake voice, using a singer that's not the actor, that it should match like what they look like. And Michael J. Fox passes on one of those for sure.
When I was a kid, though, did not question it for a second.
No,
I was like,
not
that's
at
just
all.
him.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, so in Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox and the singer of the actual tune, I forget his name, they're not credited. The song is credited as performed by Marty McFly.
Yeah.
And it's the same in this movie where the songs are credited as Stillwater, Russell Hammond, not the other people who wrote and performed the song, including Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
So these Stillwater songs were also co-written by Frampton, who Cameron Crowe had known since Crowe was a teenager, because when Crowe was 18, he wrote the liner notes for Frampton Comes Alive, which is Frampton's biggest selling album. It went 8 times platinum. And Frampton actually appears in the movie as the road manager for Humble Pie, who trades a case of beer to Stillwater for Penny Lane.
Wow.
That's right.
What kind of beer?
So harsh.
Yeah. And so with all of these incredible songwriters and Cameron Crowe, who is a great writer, but isn't like a rock star songwriter like the rest of them, it would be easy for them to really get out of hand and write like the greatest, as they say in Dewey Cox, like a song that encompasses all of your life's experiences. And so Cameron Crowe's direction to them was to make sure that they didn't make the songs too good, because the band was supposed to be not shitty, but like kind of, what does Lester Bangs say? A mid-level band wrestling with their limitations.
Yeah.
And so, there are a handful of that bands from the 70s that I can think of that I'm like, that fit in that Stillwater level of of music.
Absolutely.
And like they're good bands, but they're not in the canon of like Zeppelin or the Who or whoever else.
Yeah. And that's any generation of music, right? We remember
Totally
10-15%, and the rest kind of goes to the wayside. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Specifically, that's a good point when it comes to the fact that Stillwater was a real band.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Stillwater was the name of a real band.
Was the name of a real band. Like it's,
yes.
Is the Stillwater in the movie based on the real Stillwater? Not exactly.
Maybe a little bit. like in a roundabout. So, okay. Stillwater was the name of a real band. They existed a little out of time with the Stillwater from Almost Famous. They released their first album in 1977. This movie famously takes place in 1973. And they don't not sound like the fictional Stillwater, especially the vibe of the movie. This is confusing. The movie Stillwater's song "You Had to Be There" is like sort of a Southern rock ZZ Top sort of thing, and that's like basically the vibe of real life Stillwater.
Okay, yeah.
And so the producers had to get permission to use the band name. And in an interview, the real Stillwater guitarist and singer Bobby Golden said they could have probably done it without permission, but they would have gotten a bunch of different lawsuits. Our lawyer got in touch with them. They wanted us to do it for free. And I said, no, we are not doing it for free. So we got a little bit of change out of it. But there seems to be no real connection to the real Stillwater, except their biggest hit was called Mindbender, and in it Bobby Golden does the like Peter Frampton talk box thing.
Oh yeah.
With the guitar.
Uh-huh.
And which was like made famous in Frampton Comes Alive the year before that. So it feels like they must have been aware, at least Frampton was like aware of this real band. And they're like, nah, fuck it. Let's just use the name. We can't think of a better one.
Totally possible.
Wait. They used it a year after or a year before Frampton?
They used it a year after Frampton.
Okay.
Well, the album came out a year after Frampton. I don't know how, because the real Stillwater band formed in 1973, but didn't release a record until 1977. So it's possible that they were like out and about doing the talkbox thing.
But that sort of explains, like, this is totally a hypothetical conversation in my mind, but like Peter Frampton remembering them as like, what was that band that just copied my thing?
That ripped me off.
Yeah.
I want to rip them off even harder.
I mean, he's been thinking that the rest of his life.
Yeah, holding on to that one for a few years.
Yeah.
20, like almost 25 years, he's like, those Stillwater motherfuckers are going to get it. And then they're going to break up, and their drummer's going to be gay. One of the bigger complaints about the movie is that they don't do enough, like that the actors don't look and sound enough like rock stars. Specifically, Billy Crudup doesn't have the same swagger that Bradley Cooper does in A Star Is Born.
Okay, sure.
And so it has, like, just with Marty McFly, as a 15-year-old kid, I was completely sold. But the actual guitarist of Stillwater on the recordings is the guitarist from Pearl Jam, Mike McCready.
Yeah.
So, fun fact, we get to talk about my two least favorite bands in the world.
Oh,
really?
One of them being Pearl Jam.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Hard stance there.
I'm not a Pearl Jam fan. We're going to talk about another band that I'm really not. I like the Stillwater songs, and yet the pieces that went into them, I'm like, I don't like you. And Pearl Jam had a relationship with Cameron Crowe because of the movie Singles. And
sure.
It's in 1992, it broke grunge onto the mainstream and inspired the show Friends, according to Cameron Crowe.
Yeah. We
just talked about
discussed
Singles.
both things a couple of weeks ago in our Singles episode.
Oh, you did a Singles episode?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. But Mike McCready is the only member of Pearl Jam not in Singles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun, because the other three members of Pearl Jam are in the fake band inside of Singles,
yeah.
Citizen Dick.
Citizen Dick, that's right. And Billy Crudup, I guess, kind of tried to earn his musical stripes back, because he's also in a music movie called Rudderless from 2014, which is okay, but he like sings and plays the acoustic guitar. He plays the father of someone who did like a mass shooting, and he's like learning how to move on by singing songs with like his son's friend or something. And all those songs are by in that movie are by Eve Barzilay. It's an I mean, it might be worth an episode for you guys, especially if you're like scraping the bottom of the barrel. But it's one of my students recommended it to me. It's a super fascinating. William H. Macy directed it.
Whoa!
It's so wild. It's funny that Russell Hammond and Jeff Beebe, Jason Lee's character, are in competition with each other throughout the movie because they were both dubbed by other artists. So, as we said, Billy Crudup was dubbed by Mike McCready of Pearl Jam, and Jason Lee's Jeff Beebe, the vocals were dubbed by Marty Fredrickson, who wrote a bunch of songs for one of my other least favorite bands ever, Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Specifically, the big one that he wrote was their like 90s alt rock turn, Jaded.
Oh yeah, that's a huge song.
Huge song. I had to like look it up because they have so many songs that sound like crying that I was just going, Jaded.
Jaded was like unfairly, I would say, popular because that was off the heels of the Armageddon song, I think.
Yeah, which I actually sent a note in to you guys about the Armageddon song that it's written about Barbara Streisand and Josh Brolin or James Brolin. Did you, Shawn?
What?
Did you share that?
I
with
did
Dustin?
not. I did not share that with Dustin.
So this is a total non sequitur. I wish I could go back in time and drop it into that episode. But the writer of that song, whose name escapes me because I learned about it a long time ago, was watching like a Barbara Walters interview with Barbara Streisand and James Brolin, and James Brolin talked about like not wanting to go to sleep because he would miss Barbara and like how in love they were.
Oh, yeah.
And then the songwriter was like, gonna write that down. And so she wrote that song for like a Celine Dion type to sing in Armageddon. And Celine Dion's like, I don't want to do another movie song. And so they got Aerosmith specifically because Liv Tyler's like, let me call my dad.
wow,
That's
crazy,
crazy. Right? Well, oh, wow. So Liv Tyler was attached first.
Yes.
Huh.
Liv Tyler was attached first.
I didn't realize that.
And a fun Spinal Tap connection, Jaded was on the Aerosmith record Just Press Play, which had a Shark Sandwich-esque 3-word review in some publication when it came out. I could not find the publication, but the review just read, just push stop. Ooh. Which was fucking brutal. Absolutely fucking brutal. If we're mentioning other K-Flix episodes, the drummer from The Rocker is in this movie as a Rolling Stone employee.
that's all he's known for.
That's all. Yeah, some guy from The Rocker. I think he's also a Thermian from Galaxy Quest.
Right? Yeah.
Dang, that's right.
Galaxy Quest is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Galaxy Quest is a nearly perfect movie.
It's so funny.
Release the R-rated cut, you cowards.
Oh yes.
Have you seen the documentary Never Give Up, Never Surrender?
Yeah, it was really
It's
great.
very good. It's very, very good. And they talk about like the R-rated version of the movie that almost was.
Yeah.
But the most famous musical moment in this film, and one that I ripped off for my own movie 12 years later, is not even a Stillwater original, but it's the almost famous bus sequence in which the entire band and all the Band-Aids and William Miller, I don't think he actually sings it, sing Tiny Dancer.
Yeah, Elton John.
And that moment almost didn't happen. So this is from a Rolling Stone interview that was done with the entire cast and crew on the 20th anniversary. And it was like during COVID, so it was like a Zoom interview, which was kind of lame. But this is what Cameron Crowe said. We were already running behind a little bit. Sometimes I felt that we were kind of rogue and we were out there filming and nobody was paying attention to us, but the studio kind of woke up to that at one point and they were like, rein it in, guys, rein it in. This isn't a lifelong process, rein it in. Right about that time, we came to the scene that was 2 lines in the script. These were the lines in the script. They listen to Tiny Dancer on the bus and sing along as Russell realizes the warmth of the community of his band and crew. So we all remember this scene from this movie, and we get there and we start doing it, it was one of those situations where you just felt it. It was like a physical thing when they started singing along, and you could feel all the relationships all in that one spot. And Billy Crudup is there in the front, just kind of way inside his head, and they're singing, and you just can't help but go, this is the movie. This is everything. And I, Cameron Crowe, talked to the cinematographer and said, we got to cover everybody singing Tiny Dancer. And he's like, did you hear what the studio told you recently? This is going to take 2 days. And I'm like, but you feel it, right? You feel it. And he goes, I feel it. And I go, is it 2 days? And he goes, it's 2 days. I'm going, we got to do it. And so they spent 2 days shooting the Tiny Dancer sequence, which was 2 lines in the script.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
That story's crazy because I've never, ever heard a cinematographer push back against spending
On
more
shooting
money
more
for
stuff.
art.
Oh, you want to cover this? You want to cover this less than 1/8 of a page in 15 angles? You got it, buddy. I just feel bad for the poor AD who has to like talk to the cinematographer and Cameron Crowe, and he's like, "You want to do what? We're not going to make our day today or tomorrow." And at that point, they're burning like hundreds of thousands of dollars a day.
Sure.
Oh,
and now
yeah.
and now you're licensing an Elton John song on top.
Which I
Yeah.
have to imagine they were like, I mean, it's in the script. They're like going to kind of go after it anyway. But if they aren't like actually singing along with the song, it could be anything.
Yep.
Right. And there are
Sure.
tons of stories of songs like being replaced at the last minute. But on the other hand, he was right. That is the movie. And it was
Yeah.
in every trailer. And it's like the song that everyone remembers from the movie. But it goes both ways, right? Because the movie is now inextricably linked to the song, so that like I can't hear it on the radio without thinking of Almost Famous.
Oh, absolutely. They're forever entwined.
So like, I mean, Rising Tides, I bet you it sold a bunch of copies of what record is Tiny Dancer on? Mad Men Along the Water or something?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And in that moment, that is also the big moment where William Miller says, "I have to go home," and Kate Hudson goes, "You are home." And that was an improvised moment on day 2 of filming,
Oh,
because
wow.
they had done it so many times that they were like finding these cool little emotional moments.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So this brings me to my hottest take.
Okay.
Which is
Hotter than fuck Pearl Jam.
hotter than fuck Pearl Jam. That is like actually a very normal take. No, I have long had this theory that Almost Famous is a prequel to Say Anything. And you can sort of see some of the connective tissue that in both movies there is. The main character has like an older sister who's a little bit more wild in Almost Famous. She's like traveling, and then she's like has a kid in Say Anything. Lloyd Dobler is like returning to school after a year off, and we like assume that he says that it's like because he was kickboxing around the world, which like doesn't really make sense. John Cusack kickboxing.
Yeah.
But like if you sort of like copy and paste, he was just on tour with, the 80s version of Led Zeppelin,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
which like is not the hottest take in the world because of course they're both autobiographical
Right.
Cameron Crowe stories, right? So like, yes, they are connected because they're all just his life.
Just different segments of his real existence.
Yeah. Of his adolescence.
But it's a cool double feature for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I love Cameron Crowe movies. He's a fantastic filmmaker. So
Me too. And I highly recommend there's a podcast called You Must Remember This, which is about film history and untold stories. And they have a season on Polly Platt, who is the producer of Say Anything, and who like looked at Cameron Crowe and basically was like, I think this guy's got something. And he did the same thing. She did the same thing with Wes Anderson.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so she produced Bottle Rocket too. So a lot of like really cool. She did a lot of really cool stuff, and so including Say Anything.
yeah.
She also suggested that James L. Brooks and Matt Groening meet up and talk
Yep.
about a show.
Yep.
Wow.
She is
Holy
responsible
shit.
for The Simpsons. She was married to Peter Bogdanovich, and then after they got divorced, his movies decreased in quality pretty significantly. There's a lot of stuff where you're like, I wonder if that was just Polly.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
I highly recommend that show. Highly recommend the Polly Platt season, and Almost Famous is the best movie.
Wow. Well, you had some fantastic information for us here,
Thank
Aviv.
you.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. This was a very pivotal movie in my upbringing, and so I'm glad I got to special interest dump on you.
Yeah. We love a good special interest dump on K-Flicks.
I see the one guy in the audience not getting off, and I make him get off. That you can print.
I can't imagine anyone but Jason Lee for that role.
Which is interesting because he's never done anything like that before or since.
No.
And is so good in it. Weirdly, I also think Jimmy Fallon is good in the movie, even though I don't think he's good in anything else.
I agree. Yeah. Well used. I think Jason Lee has a range that he doesn't tap into enough. Jimmy Fallon, this was definitely they found the thing for him to do.
One thing.
Yes.
Same with Marin, right? Marin
Yes.
is Marin in it and is perfect.
Yes.
For a movie that didn't make a lot of money, its cultural waves were almost immeasurable.
Yeah.
From a Tiny Dancer resurgence to just sort of the way that we understood rock and roll movies and music in the 90s, in the 2000s. It's really hugely influential.
Absolutely.
Yeah, movies that didn't make a lot of money have a tendency to do that, to be those
That's
ones.
true, yeah.
It's rare that something was a box office smash and you're and it's super
And everyone
influential.
remembers the Avatar. Yeah.
Right. Jaws did it, but it was the first one.
Yeah. And like Inception and The Dark Knight did, but kind of in a different way. Their hugeness was the cultural moment, not anything about their content per se.
Those are more event movies.
Yeah.
In my mind. Yeah.
And I could talk your ear off about how we don't do that. We don't allow movies to do that anymore because there's no secondary market for Blu-ray, DVD,
Right.
VHS. It's pretty bleak. It's a good thing none of us are in that industry.
Yeah, no, none of us at all. In fact, you mentioned that you make movies earlier in this call.
I do make movies.
Is there anything that you would like to plug before we wrap up this phone call?
If you would like to see things that I've written and or acted in, you can watch the movie that was directly inspired by Almost Famous, which is called The Anchorite. That's on Amazon, and it's about a band on tour in 2012. So a different landscape, and there's if you watch it, you'll know the scene. We just ripped the Tiny Dancer scene right off, but I got to make that movie with my best friends, and it was just an amazing experience. And I released a movie this year called Lizzie Lazarus, which is not about music, but does have a musical number that is released by Screambox. It's a little horror thriller.
Awesome.
And was one of our mutual friends was on the camera team, Sophia Cacciola.
Yes.
Yeah, who I've known forever and ever and ever, who's also a great musician. And yeah, it's a little spooky little horror movie. And you can see that wherever you get your spooky little horror movies.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and
thank you.
Absolutely wonderful information, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This is a dream come true.
So thank you, Aviv, for calling into K-Flicks. Man, that was some terrific information he had for us there, Dustin.
That was a lot of good stuff. A lot of stuff that I mean, there were a few things I had come across and maybe would have brought up, but he really found the goods.
Oh yeah, all those quotes from Cameron Crowe and stuff like that. That was good stuff.
So fascinating. I had no idea the Elton John song scene was such a turning point. It was a moment in the Blues Brothers saga of this, where the studio finally sort of caught wind of all the money that was being spent.
Yeah, I also would not have guessed that took 2 days to shoot. That was wild.
No, that's crazy. But you can tell the care is there.
And he even brought up a Stillwater song that I was going to play, so I think we might as well play the real Stillwater song, Mindbender, so that way you can hear that Peter Frampton talk box we were discussing.
Beautiful.
Now it's not like you're thinking. I was a stone, not drinking. When I heard that talking guitar say, my daddy was a hip my mama was a bender.
Yeah. This is not crazy far from Stillwater in the movie.
Yeah, not too
Like
far.
it's a little more blues based. Like,
Definitely has more blues influence.
yes, cool. Well, great. Glad we got to hear that.
Hell yeah. So in preparation for this show, I read that a few bands were used as the inspiration for Stillwater. These bands include Eagles, Led Zeppelin, Allman Brothers, Cream, Bad Company, and to be honest with you, I don't hear a ton of the Eagles in Stillwater songs.
Fair.
But you just brought up a couple of minutes ago that Russell was based on a member of the Eagles, so
So they say.
it's probably more of like a personality thing than the sound of the music, because I really don't hear any Eagles in here.
I think a lot of it is that. I think a lot of it is based on like because these guys act just like how the Eagles seem to act in that documentary.
Yeah, totally.
Just like wild children.
yeah.
And they do the huddle thing.
Yeah, they do the huddle thing.
The like pre-show
Yeah.
sing-song huddle thing that the Eagles did, and probably a bunch of other
Yeah.
bands too. But we know Eagles did it because
It's
we've
in the
seen it.
documentary, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't even put that together till right now. Good call, buddy. Fuck.
Yeah, yeah. There's even a name for that. I forget what it is, but I read a name for that practice.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that it has some sort of a name. Why wouldn't it? Pre-show huddle, I call it.
Yeah, that works.
But in terms of stuff like Zeppelin, I don't hear a lot of Zeppelin musically, but I guess I hear a little bit of what Marty was going for in the vocals, maybe. Like him trying to get sort of Zeppelin sounding with the higher register.
Yeah, I can hear that in the style for sure. It's so dangerous to. I wonder if like Cameron Crowe would ever say like, "Oh, they're like Led Zeppelin," because it's so dangerous to say any band is like Led Zeppelin. I mean, no one is more lionized in rock and roll than Bonzo, than John Bonham, right?
True.
Drummer who died at the prime of like one of the most groundbreaking rock bands ever. There's a reason. You don't just like play a Zeppelin cover and expect like accolades.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
they were a special thing. Like it's like Queen.
Yeah, man.
Queen has existed in many iterations since Freddie Mercury, but it's not Queen really. I mean, I know Brian May and everybody would disagree and say it's what they've done is important and it's good and it's musical and whatever. And I'm not really trying to dispute that, but like sometimes great bands are just 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people or whatever coming together, and it works because it's those people at that time.
Absolutely. Whether they get along or not, it creates magic sometimes.
Yeah, and that plays into why like bands that break up are like the best bands because they stopped
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
because they gave you a limited supply.
That's true. Yeah.
Why
they
are the
kept you wanting
Beatles
more.
considered so great? Because they existed for like less than 10 years.
In and out, man.
Yeah.
But I do think that Stillwater does have elements from Allman Brothers.
Okay, yeah.
Like in Whipping Post, I feel like their intro to the song builds in a very similar way to a lot of the Stillwater songs. It's got that march of the guitar, then it brings in the drums, a little bit more guitar. Though this has an organ, and Stillwater doesn't feature the organ all that much.
Now and then, and when they do, that's the one time that I think that I really feel the Led Zeppelin thing, actually,
Oh, sure.
is when they use their organ.
I mean, Led Zeppelin used the organ in fantastic ways.
Oh, man. Yeah. I think you're right. And I think that tracks because of all the bands mentioned, the Allman Brothers band is the one that Cameron Crowe actually did travel around with when he was a youth, writing
Sure.
about rock and roll.
Yeah. And then I think that there are other Allman Brothers songs where Marty Fredrickson was a little bit more on the Allman Brothers tone, stuff like Midnight Rider.
I've got to run to keep from high, and I'm bound to keep on riding. I've got
Like that's a little bit more similar to how the vocal structure works on Stillwater songs.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. I did listen to that song specifically earlier and go, man, I wish there was like that level of soulfulness
Oh, yes.
in the Stillwater songs.
That's why I separated them, because musically, Whipping Post has like the Stillwater sound, but I think Midnight Rider has the style, the vocal styling. So when you marry the two together, you get sort of like a Stillwater-y thing.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right there. What it's missing for me is a realness, I guess, and that's because it's not real.
Right.
The Stillwater songs. I think one of the writers, I think it was Nancy, said like it was really freeing writing for a fictional artist because you don't have to put any of your like real bullshit into it. But at the same time, I think you end up with songs that don't have like real emotion behind them because of that.
That's a fair criticism.
And I don't think this movie is ultimately about the songs.
No, it's not at all.
I think of the songs more as props
Yes.
in this than central figures. It's not, we don't follow like, it's not that thing you do.
Right.
It's not like, oh, they have another hit, or like this song's really taken to the airwaves.
Right.
It's not Walk Hard in that way. It's not featuring them. They're just part of the atmosphere in a really good way.
Sure, yeah, totally. And in terms of Cream, I do think that they're trying to go for Cream solos sometimes in the Stillwater stuff. Here's Tales of Brave Ulysses. I don't think that they quite get there in the guitar sound of Cream, though, but the way that Cream uses the guitar solos in their music is definitely an inspiration for how often and how much guitar solos are used in Stillwater songs.
Yeah, I mean, guitar solos were never bigger
No.
than in this period of music, so that makes sense. Well, maybe in the 80s a little bit, but different.
Yeah, a little different in the 80s. But again, I don't think that they don't have the Cream sound. They just have the influence of the guitar solos themselves that are like used in Cream songs.
It just hit me when you played that clip from the Cream song how much like Tom Morello has seeped in
Totally.
that style into his playing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think the Stillwater songs are they just stay a little closer to like a Pearl Jam sound, which makes sense as the guitarist from Pearl Jam was one of the writers.
Now, you had brought up that the guitar sounds a little bit more 90s to me on the phone the other day, and I'm going to come back around here in a couple of minutes to what I think the guitar sound actually is.
Great.
At least for my ears. But and sort of the same thing with the Bad Company inspiration. That's going to come back around later because there's something that really rings true for me, so I'm going to save that.
Okay.
I don't think that Stillwater sounds a lot like the bands that we just discussed. Like, it has small, little, tiny elements. I would like to demonstrate where I think Stillwater landed in their execution.
Okay.
So I've got 3 examples for you. The first one is Flirtin' with Disaster by Molly Hatchet.
Ooh, Molly Hatchet. Nice.
Again, it's got the sort of like intro, though this has like so much more like rock life to it.
Sure.
Whereas like the Stillwater songs are a little bit darker in their feels.
Yeah, a little, grungier, you might say.
Right.
But I can hear, like, it's the blues bass,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
I can hear what you're getting at.
And then also stuff like Train by Blackfoot. Again, this is a little bit more bluesy than Stillwater, but this is like, I'm not saying that Stillwater sounds like these bands. I'm saying like this is where Stillwater landed in their execution, like bands along with this. Like they shot for the stars with like Zeppelin.
Sure.
And this is not a slight against Molly Hatchet. This is not a slight against Blackfoot. This is not a slight against the next band that I'm going to play. I'm just saying this is where they landed for me. This is
I think you're absolutely right. They're like a touring band in the 70s.
Yeah. And then the final example that I have is Fog Hat, and I'm going to hit you with Fool for the City.
Nice.
And they do have some of this sort of like harmonization a couple of times in Stillwater stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is right on point. And you're totally right. And to be honest with you, of the 3 songs you just played, I knew 2 of the bands. I've never heard of Blackfoot.
Oh, okay.
Actually. And I've never heard that Foghat song.
Oh, Fool for the City's been stuck in my head all day.
No, nice.
So now, this is a genre of music that I have categorized in my head for probably 20 years now. And this sound, it's like if I hear a band that sounds like this, I call it NASCAR rock bands. And
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's where Stillwater lands. Stillwater lands in NASCAR band land.
Mullet adjacent territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like not quite. I mean, it's definitely Southern rock influence.
Yeah.
I would put like Skinnerd and Allman Brothers definitely squarely in Southern rock. I'd put Molly Hatchet there.
Yes.
But like there is a slightly more generic version of that is definitely what you're getting at.
Yeah. But now I would like to say the guitar stuff. Pearl Jam, of course, is going to be influencing how the guitar sounds because
Sure.
Mike McCready is the guitarist for Stillwater. But I feel like he was trying to do a particular thing and he did it very well.
Okay.
I think because, keep in mind, Stillwater, I think, is a band from Michigan. I think that's what they said. So I think he's trying to go for that Motor City guitar sound. So I have some Sweaty Teddy, some Stranglehold.
Okay.
I feel like the equipment that he was using gives it this like heavier sound that Ted used in Stranglehold and Free for All. Like it's like this extra
Interesting.
meaty sort of like sound. It's like that Motor City. I mean, it's like even in the Stooges, I Want to Be Your Dog. Like it's
Yeah.
it's that.
MC5 has it too.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of that like Motor City sound like
Just
out
like
of the guitar there.
Oppressive life in the car factory.
Yeah,
music.
just beating you down.
Yeah. yeah. Okay. Oh, I gotta process this. Like you've taken it to a new corner for me. The Ted Nugent stuff I had not considered.
I mean, like the more I was listening to the guitar solos from Fever Dog and all of that stuff, I was like, oh man, this is just really reminding me of like that Ted Nugent like thick guitar sound. And I was like, oh yeah, this is Motor City sound, man.
Now, I don't want to take away from what you're saying Mike McCready did, like to come up with this sound. But I will say at the same time, I think everything you said applies to Pearl Jam too.
I don't discredit that at all.
I think they also absorb a lot of that. Like, it goes back to the like what is grunge thing. Like Pearl Jam has a meatier sound.
They do, yes, absolutely.
They also have like 3 guitar players, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's sort of an Andrew WK situation where you're like, how many do you need?
Yeah. They do cool stuff, but it's crazy. Like it's like, yeah, Mike McCready, the guitar player from Pearl Jam, one of them.
Yeah.
But no, you're totally right. I think Detroit is so much more influential than it's already given a lot of credit. I mean, literally, Motown is a whole genre named after it. And that's not even what we're talking about. We're talking about the rock stuff after that.
But, ladies and gentlemen, that's how you shoehorn the 50s into every show.
Yeah, we gotta touch on the 50s. We're doing a period movie that's actually set a couple decades later, for once.
I'm surprised there wasn't a time travel element to get back there.
Or like a modern story where we're flashing back. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right on point. And yeah, Detroit is such a it's just where like important rock and roll stuff happens. Important music stuff happens where like stuff comes together and melds into a new thing.
Yeah, man.
So I won't dispute anything you said there. I think you're totally on.
Awesome. Thanks, bud. And just enjoy when you hear new NASCAR rock bands now.
NASCAR rock. I love that.
What do you say we get into the actual tunes from this here flick, Dustin?
Yeah, I think I would like that. Let's talk about the music of Stillwater. So let's start with what I guess is, again, this movie's not really it's not about the songs.
No,
so
it's really not.
I guess this is kind of their big hit. It's referenced in a way that leads me to believe it is a hit, at least, but the song Fever Dog.
See, it's got that intro, man.
I had to start with the intro because this intro had me locked into just madness today. I was listening to it and I was like, it's so familiar to me from another song. But the way the guitar works there and the way the drum, it's like this slow plodding, and then it's the double tap. Da-da-da-da-da-da, ta-ta.
Right.
And it just repeats that. That's kind of how, that's the like march that starts us into the song. And I was like, I've heard that. I've heard something like that somewhere. Not just heard, like I'm like deeply familiar with something, but I could not pull out what it was. It's that situation we get into all the time on this.
Frustrating.
My first thought was it's a little bit, and I'm sorry, Shawn, I know this is your favorite song by this band, but it's a little bit Tom Sawyer by Rush.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay.
But that didn't work. That didn't do it for me. That's too Rush.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
a
too
little
prog.
too Neil Peart. Yeah.
So much going on in the drums there that is not happening in the Stillwater song.
No.
And ultimately, that's what I was thinking of, was something with just more of that like march, that beat, right? And finally, at the 11th hour, I came up with it, but it reminds me so much of the song Bullet the Blue Sky by U2.
Oh, yeah.
Like the whole intro is pretty similar.
Yeah. This is pretty spot on.
Like even that
Oh, yeah.
snare fill there is like how Fever Dog starts. I'm going to hit Fever Dog again real quick just for comparison.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of U2 in there, and U2 is never discussed in relation to this movie.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
I don't think it's a thing, and it might be a thing. This might be a more tropey thing than I even realize, and it's just because I've listened to that song a bunch that it stuck out for me.
Sure.
But it did, and it's kind of funny because U2 was kind of the next, like, as classic rock faded. If you didn't go, I mean, I'm sure the NASCAR train went right into hair metal.
Totally.
But if you didn't go that way, the biggest rock band in the world in the 80s was U2.
Oh, yeah.
Or quickly became U2.
Yeah.
Maybe by the 90s is when they were the biggest.
Oof. Yeah, that was when they hit their peak for sure.
So, yeah, I would say they were pretty, like, they just laid all the seeds in the 80s. And then by 1990, they started doing really weird, fun stuff like Zooropa because they could,
yeah.
because they had all these, like, established hits. People wanted to see them. They were like, let's put on a good show.
Yeah.
But that was my, like, I literally spent hours today listening to like intros and bridges of rock songs, trying to figure out where I've heard something like that before. Finally came up with it.
Nice. I'm glad you came up with it, bud.
Yeah, man. It's good. It's a good feeling.
I have a little Fever Dog clip for you, Dustin.
Great. You can play some with words maybe if you want.
Yeah, I certainly can. It's from something that I didn't know existed until today. It's the almost famous stage musical.
Oh, boy.
So let's hear what that sounds like.
Fever dog, scratching at my back door. I hear you howl, but I don't listen no more. Gotta spit it.
Musically sounds very similar.
Sure. Yeah. With a stage musical guy singing.
Yep.
Like very, very prominent, present, clear vocals.
Oh, yeah. Enunciation.
Yes. Yeah. It didn't go full School of Rock.
No.
Into like a parody of a voice. But yeah. What's funny is back to the Pearl Jam thing. Like every time I hear that song, like when the vocals come in a little bit, I want him to say even flow or say whatever the first word is from even flow.
Yeah.
Like it almost fits. And that one sounded even more like that for some reason.
As I said, Dustin, I'm very happy that you figured out what Fever Dog reminded you of. I had one of those situations myself for this movie.
You had a similar thing. Yeah.
I was not able to figure it out. So, dear listeners, maybe you can help me here. We're going to take a look at the song Love Thing, which is written by Cameron Crowe, Nancy Wilson, and Ann Wilson. And very similar to yours, this is an intro query of mine.
Yeah.
It's the guitar. And it's not this first part. It's that. And I don't know where the fuck it comes from, but it comes from something that my brain knows. And it has been driving me absolutely up a fucking wall. I asked you about it a day or two ago, Dustin, and you came back with what?
I'm fully stuck in grunge, so I was like, I don't know, maybe a little bit like Stone Temple Pilots.
Okay, so I went and I listened to a fair amount of STP, and I thought, well, maybe it's Plush.
The beat is the same. The rhythm's the same.
The rhythm's in there, but it's not quite the guitar that I'm looking for, you know?
Sure.
But it's close. It's close. It sounds like it, but it's not there. So I was getting frustrated today, so I reached out to my friend Jacob Givens, who you should listen to in our last Cameron Crowe episode for singles.
Yeah, he's our Cameron Crowe guy.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, buddy, this is in your fucking wheelhouse. You're my 90s rock guy. This is the Pearl Jam guitarist. Tell me what you think this sounds like. And he came back with something that I had not considered before, though it has nothing to do with the guitar. He came back with a different sounds like, and he said vocally, it reminds me of a different song. So I just want to play a little bit of Love Thing so you can hear the vocals. Then I'll tell you what Jacob said.
Okay.
Outside my window, outside my face, I see my little girl, my sweet love thing.
So Jacob said vocally, it reminds him of Wild Side, Motley Crue.
Still can you see us touch
Honestly, something I can't shake in this whole thing is that I feel like they put a little too much of the 80s into Stillwater's sound.
Yeah, I can see that. I can understand that.
It comes down to some potentially like, minute stuff that probably, you're recording songs for a big motion picture. Maybe they didn't go out and get all vintage equipment, go full Jack White on it. And record it on some more modern stuff, and I think that's just part of it for me. Is just like the actual tone of it, not even anything about the performance or the choices of the songwriting process. Just the tone of the guitars and stuff sound a little off to me for the 70s.
Interesting.
And I do think if it was in the 80s, it would make a little more sense in some ways.
Gotcha. I do still think that the guitar has that Motor City sound, so they could have still been using some of the same like pedals or something like that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, what guitarist doesn't like vintage pedals and shit?
Yeah.
It's just the overall cleanness of the guitar and the vocals. I don't know. I don't know how to better describe it, unfortunately, than what I've been sort of blathering about. But it's something in there. Something weird in the mix.
Sure. Something in that sauce.
There's like 70s stuff is the best distortion because it's distorted, but it's still round to your ears. It's still rounded off. And there's a sharpness that came in the 80s and especially in the early 90s with the grunge stuff. It's not bad. It's not any worse or anything. It's just different.
Sure.
And I feel like some of that bled through to this.
Fair enough.
But I like that train of thought. I like the Vince Neil.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he originally, he was like, I think it's a stretch. And I was like, I don't think it's a stretch.
I mean, I can hear it. Vince Neil's voice cuts like a knife too, though. It's like a weird thing, a weird special thing in rock music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it.
But if any of you listening to this episode can place what that guitar lick comes from in the opening of Love Thing, you just let me know.
Hey, Shawn, real quick. When you were watching this movie again, did you remember the bit that was going to make you think of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Well, why do you have a bunch of, like, weird tools in a hidden compartment in your car?
This is from the high school reunion episode.
I remember this scene.
I need to be bound. That's not important. Don't ask me questions. I'm not taking questions. The Golden God is not taking questions. I am the Golden God. I'm taking action. I gotta go. Whoa, wait a second.
No, I did not think of that, but that is a 5-star man in a 5-star scene.
The I am a golden god bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which apparently is based on a story of Robert Plant being up on a balcony a little bit wasted saying the same thing.
Oh, okay, great.
When they had the Russell scene where he's on acid, I think, and he's
yes,
like,
yeah, he's
I
on
am
acid
a golden god
on top of the roof before he jumps in the pool.
Anyway, not about a song, but I wanted to squeeze that in when I thought about it. So, Shawn, there's a song in the movie that's not even like a song that Stillwater recorded. It's just a song we get to hear them sing, and it's when they find out that they're going to be on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine.
Oh, yeah.
They all sort of break into song together around the table.
We take all kind of pills that give us all kind of thrills, but the thrill we never know was the thrill that'll get you when you get your picture on the cover of a Rolling Stone.
Now, that is actually Jason Lee's voice.
That is actually Jason Lee's voice, yeah. Not in the rest of the songs, but it would have been weird for him to not sing it there, I think.
True.
Like you wouldn't have been able to tell. Anyway, that song, I didn't even know that was a real song.
Oh.
Did you?
No?
It's by Dr. Hook.
Give us all kind of thrills, but the thrill we've never known is the thrill that'll get you when you get your picture on the cover of the Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone. Wanna see my picture?
And honestly, Dr. Hook,
This is
got
pretty
another
good.
NASCAR band here.
Oh, yeah.
See my smiling face on the cover of the Rolling
It's also funny to me because it sounds nothing like the limited knowledge I have of other Dr. Hook songs. They're, in my mind, have always been a much like softer sounding band. Like almost like yacht rock.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of their song when you're in love with a beautiful woman.
I'll tell you, man, if Michael McDonald ever covered that song, it'd be a certified hit.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I think it was at least a minor hit. But yeah, you could totally put some Michael McDonald stank on it.
Oof. Love me the MM.
All that to say, cover of the Rolling Stone is a real song, and I wonder how many bands around that time did sing that when they found out they were going to be on Rolling Stone.
Probably so many. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Cameron Crowe witnessed that exact thing happen, you know?
Yeah, could be. I mean, this movie has been described as a thinly veiled autobiography.
Yeah.
Oh, the plane thing happened apparently in real life too when he was with the Who.
Oh, wow.
Like I don't know if
Cool.
like affairs were disclosed or anything, but
Yeah.
like that sort of situation, like we might die.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet that situation was fairly common, to be honest.
Yeah, I think flying used to be pretty scary.
I mean, still is sometimes.
Still can be, yes, but modern planes fly so much higher that I feel like we run into a lot less like just crazy turbulence and stuff. Like back in the day, it just seemed like that happened. And then like the fact that in the movie, like the pilots like swing open the door and they're like, oh,
yeah.
thank God we made it. Like it's like you guys are concerned. Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we did almost die. Son of a bitch.
By the way, I read that there is a version of this movie where they cut out that scene and the later reference to almost dying on the plane. That is the version that airs on United Airlines. Which is crazy because it's kind of a pivotal scene.
Yeah, it really is.
Like it changes the whole mood of everything.
Yeah.
And they just cut it out.
Wow.
Because they're like, we can't, I mean, fair, I guess. Trying to avoid flight anxiety. But yeah, weird thing.
Wow, I did not come across that. That's fantastic. Next up on the list of songs I would like to discuss is Love Comes and Goes, also written by Cameron Crowe and Nancy Wilson
Yes.
and Ann Wilson. Note the awesome organ work we've got here.
That and the vocals make this is the Led Zeppelin song for me.
Oh, I mean, I can hear what you're saying there, but this is a song that screams a different band for me.
Oh.
And this slow intro is exactly part of it.
Okay.
And the way that it breaks into the full song here in a second. Do you have a specific Zeppelin song that this reminds you of, Dustin?
No, not offhand. Because again, like Zeppelin was doing some more interesting stuff. Like it was never just like a straightforward 1, 2, 3, 4 with them. So I can't pick a thing that it sounds just like.
Okay. To me, and I said earlier, I'm going to loop this back around. This is 1,000 fucking % Bad Company by Bad Company.
Company, always on the run. Destiny.
Because it's got the piano here. It's got the
Yeah.
slow build. It's got like the same sort of vocal stylings.
I mean, this is like also what Journey took and made their whole thing.
True. But then the song, when it kicks in,
That's why they call me.
it's just,
Oh, it's like note for note almost. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're really doing a Bad Company thing here.
So when I came across Bad Company being an inspiration and I already had that down, I was like, oh, son, here we go.
Yeah. Okay. I gotcha. I mean, maybe, good for them. They're kind of like mixing and matching their influences. So we, at least the two of us are hearing different things.
Yeah, that's fairly regular occurrence for us on this show.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, occasionally we do get some where we're just like, oh, that song is clearly this other song. It's just
Right.
like it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like not like we've, for the most part, we find things to like about everything. But
Yeah.
there've been a few over the course of our 60 plus episodes where we've gone like, they didn't try very hard.
Yeah. Well, even if they did try hard, it's all subjective, and it just doesn't happen to be for us.
But yeah, I think Bad Company's right. I do think there's some Led Zeppelin in that intro.
Sure.
I think he was going for it with the Robert Plant vocals, at least to start there. But yeah, you're totally right. Like it's as clear to me as the U2 thing for my song.
Yeah. Hey, man, at least I got one of them. I got one in there.
This is also a song where I hear a lot of like grunge sound once it comes into once it gets past that intro.
Oh, fair enough.
Where I'm like, again, I'm like, it could be. I'm going to play a clip and see if this works. I'm going to play a clip from You by Candlebox because I mentioned them earlier. I guess maybe that's what it is. Like, it's when I say the guitar sounds a little new for the 70s era, it's because they're just like strumming and letting it ring out, whereas I feel like 70s stuff would have more like noodliness to everything, to not just the solos, but the verses and everything. And when they like lock into the verses on the Stillwater songs, I'm like, it's a little Candlebox, a little Pearl Jam, a little STP, whatever it may be.
Fair.
I think Sabbath is also in there, by the way.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I think like the slower songs, like the way Ozzy sings, Ozzy's voice. I was trying to like think about like what made Ozzy's voice special when it
Right.
came along. What made Black Sabbath special? And it's that he's another instrument in the band.
Oh,
like he's
yeah.
just always so locked in with the guitar sound. Like he's just singing
lockstep.
along with the riff.
Uh-huh.
But
Yep.
it's so cool in a way that other vocalists, it wouldn't sound right. It was a clip from NIB.
Nice.
Yeah, so the influences are varied, and they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, sure. I agree.
So the last one we had on our lists for this ep was the song "Hour of Need."
Here come the demons, falls like
This is a song that reminded me of of a more contemporary song to when the movie was made in a big way.
It sounds... I can't quite place... It could be a Wallflowers song.
Yes!
Is that what you were thinking?
Yes! And it's not necessarily a Wallflowers song. I may have said song a second ago, but I meant band. And it's just a general Wallflowers vibe. Because, like, I'm going to play One Headlight here. And it's not the song One Headlight, but it's that, like, whispery vocal.
Yeah, it is in the vocal tone. He's doing, like, similar things to what Jacob Dylan does.
Yeah, in a big fat way. But also it does sort of sound like a newer Wallflowers song. Like it just
Kind of, yeah.
has that vibe to it.
Hour of Need stands out to me as the most anachronistic, modern-sounding song of the Stillwater songs.
Yes,
That said, the Wallflowers are a weird thing, too. Like, they're a, 90s, 2000s band with a 90s, 2000s sound, but led by a guy who grew up as Bob Dylan's kid. So, like, he's got all kinds of influences, and he was there for, like, stuff.
Yeah.
So they're like an interesting aberration as well.
Totally, man. That's so funny. You're like, I don't know, it's like a Wallflowers song. It's like, yes, it is. It's a Wallflowers song.
Yeah. That's the tone it struck for me, for sure.
Yeah. Every time it started, I was like, how'd a Wallflowers song get in here? And I'm like, oh, no, it's not a Wallflowers song. This song, by the way, though, is written by Peter Frampton, Wayne Kirkpatrick, and Gordon Kennedy. And Wayne and Gordon have worked with Peter Frampton, along with so many fucking other artists. They're songwriters that work with everybody.
Nice.
Well, now that the episode is coming to a close and we've played all of the Stillwater songs we're going to cover in this episode, I've got to ask you the question, Dustin. If Stillwater was a real band producing real music in our reality, would you listen to them?
Ooh, this is one of the tougher times you've asked this.
Oh.
Because it's a thing where there's nothing, it's kind of everything we've talked about. There's nothing wrong with the music, but it ends up being an accurate portrayal of a sort of middling 70s rock band.
Yeah.
That may be sort of forgotten by now.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Every song I wanted a little bit more. And I wanted more, no pun intended, I wanted a little more heart in it, even though there was like half of the members of Heart.
Yeah. Interesting how that works.
But I think it comes down to like it's other people writing songs for fictional people, and so like the real experience, the real pain, the real feeling gets skipped a little bit.
Totally fair. Yeah. So is that a no, Dustin?
Ultimately, yeah, it's gonna be a no. I hate doing no's, but yeah, it's probably a no.
It doesn't happen very often, but I'm gonna have to agree with you. I like this movie. It's a very well-made movie, and the songs are fine. They turned out the way that they wanted to. They sound appropriate enough.
Yeah.
But they were lacking that, like, 70s energy that I needed, you know? Like, they just didn't have that oomph.
They didn't have the oomph, and they didn't have the hook for it to take off as a hit.
Right.
Yeah.
And be sure to come back next week for something that I've never seen before. It's a Mark Wahlberg movie called Rockstar.
Hey, now, I've never seen it either.
Well, good. It'll be a new experience for both of us, Dustin.
I'm excited to check it out. Yeah, you've already listened to a couple songs, and you have opinions, I think. But
yes.
We'll gather those, and we'll present them to you next week.
And if you had a good time with us talking Almost Famous in Stillwater, please give us a rating on whatever podcast platform you're currently listening to this on. And if it happens to be YouTube, give us a like and subscribe.
And find us online at fictionradiopod.com and contact us at fictionradiopod@gmail.com.
And we'll see you next time for Rockstar.
Watching movies, jamming out. K-Flix 198.4 Fiction Radio.